on-orbit servicing across all orbits to secure the safe and sustainable development of space for the benefit of future generations. Adoras J is our latest mission to make that vision a reality. Adoras J, which stands for Active Debris Removal by Astroscale Japan, was selected by JAXA for the first phase of its commercial removal of debris demonstration program. The Adoras J mission will be the world's first attempt to safely approach and characterize an existing piece of large debris through rendezvous and proximity operations, or RPO. Address J will conduct a close approach and orbit around an H2A upper stage rocket body to gather data and images on its spin rate and the spin axis and the condition of the rocket structure. Taking images in space might sound easy, but doing it with an unprepared object that does not provide any location data on its own and is moving at approximately 7.5 kilometers per second is extremely hard. In fact, this kind of operation is one of the most challenging capabilities necessary for on-orbit services. Address J is a pioneering mission that opens up a range of on-orbit servicing possibilities that will lead to a sustainable future in space. Everyone here in Japan and our offices around the globe are so excited for this launch. Thank you to JAXA, the Astroscale team, and our partners and our supporters for getting us to this point. And thank you to Rocket Lab for this ride to space. Show the way, Address J!
Today's launch is our 44th Electron launch overall, our second for the year, but it's the first time we've flown for Astroscale, and we could not be more excited to work with this.
All right, everybody, happy Sunday morning live stream. We are now viewing what is going on in New Zealand. I'm happy to be here with you, Matt Money, recording this live from Houston, Texas. Not much to say other than I was hoping that Vince would be here. I did a lot of talking yesterday on Rocket Lab Weekly. We are going to be here in just a moment, within the next 40 seconds, to go no-go. And let's just take that opportunity to listen in to see if we are on track for a launch in 12 minutes. I'm very excited to be here. Astra J launch for Astroscale, looking for removing space debris. And that should be something that could be a good revenue stream for the Electron rocket or maybe even the Neutron rocket going forward. So this is a trial for Astroscale to see, and hopefully the first of many going forward. So great opportunity to be collaborating with the Japanese government. Let's listen to the go, no go now.
And all stations LD on mission, proceeding with the go, no go sequence. Stage.
Stage is go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Vcon.
Vcon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
Let's get the Sunday morning Celsius
PLS
open.
is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
MET is go.
RF.
RF is go.
MM.
MM is go.
And LD sub.
LD sub is go.
Okay, all stations, the go, no go sequence is complete. We are T minus 11 minutes and 11 seconds and counting. We are go for terminal count at T minus 10 minutes. And from this time on, the 3-word hold procedure is in effect.
That was Mission Control confirming that Electron is ready for launch, and so is the range at Launch Complex 1. Astroscale's payload is healthy and now a step closer to being deployed to space. We are still targeting a liftoff time of 0352 local time or 1452 UTC and heading to a 600-kilometer orbit for today's mission.
You might have noticed from the camera view today that in those middle desks, you'll see our space systems team popping in and out as we're actually running 2 mission campaigns from the same control room. A big group of the team in there are operators from our satellite side of the business who are preparing to bring home our Winnebago spacecraft, the satellite we've built and operated for a company called Varda Space Industries.
Oh, yes.
Over the past 8 months, our spacecraft has enabled its attached Varda manufacturing capsule to produce ritonavir crystals, a drug commonly used in antiviral medication for HIV and hepatitis C. With the manufacturing process complete and federal and range approvals for the capsule's re-entry, it's time now to bring the mission home.
Over the next several days of 24/7 operations, they will be commanding our satellite to perform a series of engine burns that will set Varda's capsule on a trajectory to land in the Utah desert no earlier than February 21st UTC. It is a super exciting mission our team can't wait to bring home, and it's great to see our Mission Control Center being used for both a rocket launch and a spacecraft re-entry campaign at the same time.
All right, everybody, let's just give a brief second to catch up on what we're talking about. So thank you for the 34 of you guys being in here. It's very exciting to be here on a Sunday morning. I'm enjoying a Astra Arctic vibe. I'm sorry, Celsius. I had an Astro vibe the other day. Arctic vibe. They were just talking about the Varda space mission that happened probably 6 months ago, and they got approval from the U.S. government to land that vehicle. So very exciting to be here talking on a Sunday morning about this particular rocket that is going off to be launching the Japanese Astroscale satellite to help with removal of space debris. But they were talking about the Varda satellite that is helping with zero gravity kind of laboratory experiments. And you heard them talking about hepatitis, HIV, those sorts of things. So they got actual approval to land that vehicle. So very exciting few days here with respect to Rocket Lab, and we actually had a great conversation yesterday with Vince talking specifically about what Spice was talking about at TD Cohen conference for space, and it was really, really well received by me. I probably went off too much. I was excited. I was wearing my stunner shades, if you guys caught that. And I was really, really hoping I'd be able to get Vince here today to give him a little bit more room to talk because I feel like I took up too much time yesterday from him. But overall, very excited to be a part of this. But let's just tune in to what they're talking about on the stream. You guys don't want to hear about me. You want to see this damn rocket launch off. Go, no go seemed to go very smoothly. So here we are within, what is it, T-minus 7 minutes before we hit this off. So let's just hear what they're talking about on stream.
So for them, it's a labor of love, and there's no more greater feat than launch day. So there's an inherent buzz that goes through the factory on launch day. Everyone's super excited. They turn up in mission control and get to watch Electron take off the pad. Every single one of them are wanting to know, what was it I built in that vehicle? What did I touch? What part of my work has provided success to the mission? So it's a great day throughout the factory.
And you certainly never forget your first launch.
Never forget your first launch.
So tell us what goes into building an Electron. We have raw material comes in one door, a finished rocket goes out the other. You're in charge of what happens in between, and what exactly is that?
Yeah, so for production, there's at any one time multiple vehicles getting built at once. To ultimately achieve the amount of vehicles and the rate that we need to be building vehicles continuously. And for the feeder teams that provide all the components to vehicle integration, which is the final team that builds everything together, they are building probably 3 to 4 vehicles at one time in various stages of build. So those components will go through the different feeder teams and the likes of propulsion, mechanical production, on composite production and avionics production. They'll build it and complete end-to-end testing through all cycles of the build. They'll then provide that to vehicle integration, who will do the same. They will put all those components. It's the culmination of the production facility, ultimately. They put all those components onto the vehicle, complete end-to-end testing once again, making sure it is fit for flight, and then deliver that down to launch range.
Easy as that.
Easy as that.
So we've got a big year ahead. We've got some 20 plus Electron missions on the schedule. Obviously, that's going to require some scaling up of the team. So I understand you've got a few roles open at the moment.
Yeah, we've got a lot of roles open right across all our different facilities.
I love how Rocket Lab is like always trying to promote. I mean, they are growing very quickly, right? So, but it's always funny how they're always trying to promote with respect to getting more and more people in the door. It's pretty fun. They do a really good job of trying to recruit people. It's a very unique organization. But I'm curious for you guys, what vehicle are you most excited about seeing launch this year? There's 22 launches. A lot of different sort of reasons to launch, a lot of different trajectories, a lot of different purposes, a lot of different companies that
You don't necessarily
Rocket
have
Lab
to
is
come from a
helping
space
try to
background.
get into orbit. So I'm curious which
Honestly,
one you are
the
most
biggest thing
excited
us
for. So
is,
make sure you
yes,
leave that in
you
the
are
comment
bringing
section.
your life's experience and skill set to the facility, but nobody that starts here in a production sense has built an Electron. Nobody is a rocket builder. No one starts as a rocket scientist here. You will learn how to build Electron. We will give you the skill set that's required to be able to. What we are looking for is that attention to detail through your day-to-day life, through what you do in your job.
I know the chick in the background that's sitting at the desk is actually very, very busy, but I'm sure she's distracted to hell as to what these guys are talking about.
Learn your hunger for the space industry and your desire to really exceed your limits of what you thought was possible.
Sounds exciting.
Yes, it is.
Well, you've got a big day ahead of you, so I'll let you and the team get back to watching launch, but thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Right now in the countdown, we are getting close to a fully fueled Electron.
All
as
right,
we
man.
prepare for flight.
3
In
minutes,
time,
30
our loading
seconds.
of kerosene and liquid oxygen to as close to launch as possible to make sure that the super cold LOX propellant doesn't warm up before we need to use it. Though Electron is a small rocket, it still requires more than 12 tons of propellant in the first stage to get to space.
Much appreciated,
But
Johnny.
you'll
You and
recall
Chris
that
and
at
everybody else are just as
1
important
minute,
as I
that
am in
LOX
this
loading
community. Very
is complete
excited
on
that
Electron.
we're able to be here. Almost
Shortly
50 of
after
us
that,
here on a
the
Sunday
team will
morning
wrap things up
looking at
with
this
the
launch.
first and second
This is
stage
fucking
when
awesome.
They confirm that both are pressurized for launch.
And Chris, it's
As
not too early
Chris
for a beer, my
introduced,
friend. It's
our
Sunday. Have a
launch
good time.
director will count down with the clock to lift off with Electron's Rutherford engines, then set to ignite at T
I hope not,
2
man.
seconds.
I hope not.
Let's
I hope you
hand
get
over
proven
now to
wrong.
mission control. The
Rumble to
first
zero.
call we should hear from our operators at T minus 2 minutes is the switchover to the rocket's onboard flight computer for the countdown. We'll be back with you shortly after liftoff. Show the way.
No, thank you guys for
J.
being here. It's always fun. All right, we're about 2 minutes out. If you have a Celsius by chance, let's support the stock price for 1Q because fourth quarter's already over, and we're going to be talking about that next week. But if you have the opportunity, support the 1Q numbers.
Avionics batteries have switched to internal power.
And I am getting a Walmart Plus order, I think,
Internal power.
within the next like half hour to an hour.
Enabled for flight.
I don't anticipate my Alexa going off, but if it does, Uncle Jeff is listening in on this launch. He's taking notes. You know, that's what it really is. No, so yeah, if you hear somebody's at the front door, I'm not getting broken into. I'm actually getting your boy's roasting that whole chicken. By roasting, I mean smoking the whole chicken.
Locks and recirculate.
What else did I get? I got some lunch meat. Yeah, some turkey, Black Forest ham.
Anti-gathering is disabled.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost 1 minute away from launch. I'm curious what you mean, man. What do you mean everyone is so unrealistic with this stock? It's going to 200 billion at least. You mean, are we being too low on our trajectories? Curious. Still waiting for Celsius to land in Great Britain. I'm sure it is, man. I'm sure it is. I know Suntory Beverage is supposed to help distribute there. Ha! The green screen. No, man, I missed my green screen.
Seconds and counting.
I missed my green screen at the old apartment. All right, boys and ladies and gentlemen.
10.
Moment of truth.
9, 8, 7.
Hide myself.
6, 5, 4, 3.
Get fired up.
2, 1. Liftoff.
So far, so good. Number 44. I like these night launches, but at the same time, because the night launch pictures are so beautiful. But you can't see shit on the videos, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, we're looking good. So far, so good.
Stage 1 propulsion. Hold.
T plus 30 seconds and Electron has left the pad at Rocket Lab Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand, carrying the Astroscale Address J payload. In a few moments, Electron will curb its engine power just a little to pass safely through the launch milestone known as max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure. This is the moment during ascent when Electron will experience the most amount of stress on its way to space.
All right, for those of you that are just checking in, we are launching the Astroscale, basically a space debris removal trial that they're doing. Here we're about to have main engine cutoff.
Cleared max Q.
In just a moment.
And Electron is clear through max Q.
Not
All
too
is
far
looking
from
nominal
now.
At T plus 1 minute
Almost
and
20
24
kilometers.
seconds into the mission, with Electron cruising along
HV
at
battery
speeds of
discharge is
over
nominal.
2,600 kilometers an hour, and now at 23 kilometers in altitude. If you've joined us in the past,
Perfect
you'll be
timing, my
very
man.
familiar with the next three
You got
events
that
happening
OG
back to
timing.
back.
First will
Guidance
be
is
the
nominal.
shutdown of the first stage's 9 Rutherford engines in preparation for when the first and second stages separate from each other, and then the engine will start up on Electron's second stage.
Stage 1
Those
propulsion. Hold
actions
in
are
nominal.
called out as
Stand by
MECO,
for
which
MECO
stands
in
for
roughly
main
30
engine
seconds.
cutoff, followed by stage separation, and then stage 2 ignition. We are expecting to hear those calls from mission control in just a few seconds.
So because this is a night launch, I'm not expecting a recovery mission. I don't remember if it is or not, but
detect mode.
yeah, this is the first of, I hope, many trials that we have with Astroscale, specifically for this type of launch. Here's main engine cutoff, second stage separation, and
Stage separation successful.
look how beautiful.
Stage 2
It's a lot easier at nighttime to see if the second stage kicks off.
And that's MECO confirmed, stage separation and second stage ignition, all seen from onboard
Guidance
cameras
is
on
nominal.
Electron. From the second stage, we're now getting a live view of the space-optimized Rutherford engine that's powering the mission to orbit.
Almost
Up
100
next
kilometers
is
above
fairing
Earth.
separation in just a few seconds. We'll likely see those two fairing halves fall away after the split, so watch out for that on your screen.
There you go.
Fairing jettison succeeded.
That was the two fairing halves successfully deployed there, introducing Astroscale's
battery
payload to
discharge is
space.
nominal.
The mission is moving along in this second
Stage
phase
2
of the journey.
Yeah, baby,
at
let's
more than
go.
8,600
Number
kilometers an hour
44,
now,
stage
at
2.
an altitude of 127
No anomalies here.
kilometers.
The burn on this Rutherford engine should continue for another 4.5 minutes or so before we get to the final stage separation between the second stage and the kick stage with Astroscale's payload. For that event, we should see the Rutherford engine on the
It is
second
very
stage
awe-inspiring,
turn cold
man.
before the stages separate.
I
Before
hope
we
to
get to
stream
that,
as
that
many as
nozzle
I
on your
can,
screen there will
but
stay
it's going to
bright
get
and
hard.
hot
I mean, that's
as
20
Electron
individual live
continues
streams,
on its
right?
trajectory to orbital insertion.
Looks like CGI, my guy. I like the night streams as well, or the night launches as well, because when the second stage
Electron
separates,
has hit the 9,800 kilometer an hour mark on its way to
it's
orbit
moving,
with
dude.
Astroscale.
When the second stage
We're
separates
4
and you
minutes
see
and
the
14
engine
seconds into the
ignite,
mission now.
you
The
don't have to
rocket
be
is
concerned
completed
whether or
its
not
clearance
it's
for the
actually
attitude,
lit,
main
versus during the
engine
day you
cutoff,
see like the
stage
initial
separation,
spark,
and
but then you have to
second
wait
stage
for like the
ignition. With
glow
around 5 minutes
of
left in second
the
stage engine burn,
Rutherford
to take
engine
initial
to really
orbital
show
weight, its
up for you
target
to be
clearance
like,
is over
okay, yeah, this thing's still
524
going. Because
kilometers.
during the
The
daytime, I
Heresy
always
is
get
the
concerned
lowest
whether or not
Palladian
it's still
delivery
actually
in an
lit or not,
elliptical orbit.
and it
And
concerns
from
me for
there,
like
the kick stage will
a
fire
millisecond. I
for
get a
around
little bit of
8 minutes
anxiety, and I'm
and
like, oh my
30
god, did
seconds.
it like
The kick stage will then
ignite? But then
ignite
it
for
just didn't,
final payload
you know,
deployment
work or
of our
what?
Drasj.
So it's a great time to be alive, to be a Rocket Lab shareholder. We were talking a lot about this yesterday. On
You can see from the telemetry data on your screen that Electron is now moving very quickly towards orbit. The second stage is on a nominal trajectory with the Astroscale payload, with everything looking great so far on this mission. At T plus 9 minutes.
So we're talking a lot about the future testing of the Archimedes engine, which will be vital for the Neutron launch. They talk specifically about how they still plan to get Neutron on the pad by the end of the fourth quarter of this year. They didn't state whether or not they would launch it, but I think that what they said on the pad, I'm anticipating they'll be very close to launch, but they're still on target for 3 launches in 2025. So whether that means we get a launch in 24 and then 3 additional in 2025, I guess is something we'll have to find out. But it really talked about Archimedes being that key last piece that we need to be able to understand whether or not Neutron is going to be successful to launch within this next 6 to 12 months thereafter. So it made it seem like after you get that Archimedes test, if it's successful, anywhere between 6 to 12, 9 months ish, basically anytime within the next year, you should expect basically that initial launch. And what they were talking about, how that upper stage tank test, because of the composite that it was made out of, was probably the second most complicated piece. And so now that that's been validated and tested and they feel comfortable with it, really the last piece is really Archimedes. So very exciting news.
The same process the rocket went through for main engine cutoff on the first stage before the stage separation earlier in the mission. The second stage engine will throttle down before shutting off completely, ahead of the kick stage separating with the Astroscale payload, so the mission can continue on to payload deployment. SECO is scheduled for T plus 9 minutes 5 seconds, which we are coming up to shortly.
Junebug, good morning.
You'll notice on the right side of your screen the fuel and oxidizer levels of the second stage engine. With just 22% of kerosene and 22% of liquid oxygen remaining, that puts us with just over a minute until the end of the second stage engine burn. With Electron moving at 20,000 kilometers an hour now, we're coming up quickly on orbital velocity.
Look at that. That's pretty crazy. So Junebug asked specifically about the crap. Why is their name skipping me? Intuitive Machines. That's right. Who helped design one of the lunar landers.
Right,
so there are 2 companies. Firefly is also designing a lunar lander, which Rocket Lab is actually helping design some of the kit on that, and I think some of the software on that. I think that was originally from the ASI acquisition. So that's not out of the woods yet. But I think, to me, you have multiple avenues with Rocket Lab. But I'm very excited to see what Intuitive Machines lunar lander is going to look like. That's the ticker symbol LUNR that Junebug is talking about here. And I think they're a $700 million organization. Let me see. Yep, $700 million organization. They're currently not profitable, but neither is Rocket Lab at the moment. So you can't fault them for that. But I am curious. I mean, there's multiple ways to look at it. Yes, they're helping design a lunar lander, but they also don't have their own
Stage 3 separation confirmed.
way to launch, right? They're not an end-to-end
Electron for orbit.
capable sort of company like
Great
you
news
have for
there from
Rocket
Mission
Lab.
Control,
So
and as you saw on
while
your
they
screen,
will
as that
design a lunar
engine
lander,
was
that's
closed
awesome. But I
down,
feel like
we
that
have had
there's
a
a little bit
successful stage
flexibility.
shutdown
It's
and
one revenue
separation
stream
of the tech
versus if you
stage.
look at something like a Rocket Lab or a
Astroscale's payload will now
SpaceX
enter a
or
coast
some of
phase
these
as it
other
completes its
companies, you
first lap
have
of the
solar,
Earth
you
orbit.
have
The
other,
next stage
you know,
on an elliptical
operation
trajectory.
software, you have
Once the dog
launch
connects and
capability,
working,
you
the next
have
stage is cured
the
and
ability to
ready
create
to deploy.
satellites. So it gives you a little bit more
Ready for final
flexibility.
year.
So I'm not saying or
Once Hydra
downplaying
CJ has been
what they're
deployed, the
doing. I
Saturn
think
Lab
that
will use
I'm
ground
encouraged,
observation
but to
data
see
to
that
determine
they have
exactly where
other
its target H2A
companies
scheduled
out there that are
rendezvous is.
developing great
So the
products, and I
satellite
hope it
can
propels
cautiously
the
approach and
sector
use its
forward and
own
keeps everybody on their
on-orbit radar
toes,
sensors
because
to get
without
closer.
competition,
The
people get
spacecraft's
lazy.
job on this
But
mission is to
I think
understand
at the
what
same
condition
time,
the H2A rocket is in.
it could be a great
Use its
opportunity
coupling
in the
and
short
decide
term
how quickly
to
what
to
is its
potentially
exact
make a little bit of
location
money. But
and
I'm
can it
looking
be
more
safely
towards the
landed
long
onto.
term, and so
This is called the
um,
rendezvous
I'd say just
velocity
think about your
approach,
game.
or
You know, think
RVO,
about it's
and the
personal finance for a
successful
reason. Think
demonstration
about why
of
you're
RVO
investing in a
on this
company.
mission could
And I
open
hope
up a
those that
world
invest that
of
company
orbit
do
service
really, really well. And
possibilities,
maybe they'll
including
take
access to
their
real
revenue
space
stream that they
debris.
get from the lunar
Now,
lander
the
and
tech
expand
stage
into other
continues on
things.
its first orbit
There are a
around
lot
the
of
Earth,
50 to 100
Astroscale.
million dollar
We'll be back
companies that
here on
are
the
EBITDA
webcast in
positive
about
that can
50
help
minutes or so to take
in
you
the
through
space
the
sector
final moments
arena,
of payload deployment. So
and
take place at
maybe
T
they'll
plus
end
1
up
hour, 4 minutes, and
uh,
30 seconds.
picking up some
We'll
of
see you
those.
here
But I also
soon.
anticipate Rocket Lab could end up picking up some of those as well. Yeah, Rocket Lab to me, I think is the current golden ticket, personally. Yeah, I mean, if you're able to build a lunar lander, I'm sure you're able to build other satellites and stuff like that as well. So the thing that's nice about this is you could now become a subcontractor, right? So obviously, if you're Intuitive Machines, you've helped design a lunar lander. SpaceX is putting you up into space. Um, that's phenomenal. You can become a subcontractor of, let's just say, uh, of the government, right? Up there with Northrop Grumman, up there with Lockheed, up there with Boeing, etc. Um, sorry, not a subcontractor. You can become a potential for a prime contractor, which is what now Rocket Lab is, right? The people that are basically hiring out the subcontractors. So where, depending on where they are, right, that unlocks a new way to look at things, right? Because if you're able to do that, then you can get much larger and more favorable sort of contracts with the government. And the key distinguisher is like, look what happened with and they talked about this a lot in the Adam Spice interview at TD Cohen, which was specifically around the um, Global Star contract. So Global Star reached out to MDA, which is a Canadian company, which reached out to Rocket Lab to basically get these Global Star satellites into Global Star's hands, right? So you think about it, it's like you have a big contractor reaching out to a subcontractor, reaching out to a subcontractor to be able to get these satellites. But who's actually building the fucking satellites? It's Rocket Lab, right? So you kind of get that flavor. And then now with the SDA contract, you are seeing the $515 million 18 satellite sort of deal, to which launch is still a separate contract that they may or may not win. So I guess we'll find out. But there's that piece. So I don't know where Intuitive Machine sits on there, but you could be onto something, June. It could be ending up like that they end up becoming a prime contractor and help design some of these things, just like what you're seeing with Rocket Lab. They could end up being a subcontractor and or a prime contractor and building some of the SDA stuff, right? And that's $500 some million revenue right there. But it is encouraging that Rocket Lab is doing really well with respect to that, and I'm hoping with the successful testing of the Archimedes engine here, we start to see more and more contracts coming through the pipeline, which that's kind of what they noted, at least, is that nobody really wants to sign up until you can guarantee that within 6 to 9 months they can get their satellites into space, and that obviously requires having a successful engine test. So very excited to see what ends up happening with respect to that. Hot Vince, what's going on, my guy? I did just wake up. I ran and I took a shower really quick. That's why my hair is soaking wet. I tried to dry it as quick as possible, but I was like, why dry it if I need to be in front of people first? So congratulations on successfully trading Intuitive Machines off and on. Yeah, we talked about this one. Potential commercial customers. Good morning, good morning, good morning, morning. Happy, successful 44th launch. Hopefully we'll hear here in just a moment or two that they had a successful deployment of the satellites. I see your attraction to Rocket Labs. Yeah, I see my attraction to you, Junebug. You're a great person. How many stocks do you have? I counted yesterday, and there's, I'd say 15. Probably there's 5 really good concentrated stocks, which occupy. Let me do some quick math in my head. So about 50% of the portfolio is in ETFs. And there's that. And then there's, I guess, half of that is remaining in individual stocks. There's about 100,000 in real estate, physical real estate. So that would probably leave about 50% of the remaining individual stock contribution in 5 stocks. I guess maybe closer to 6 stocks if you include share-based compensation. So it's Palantir, Rocket Lab, Amazon, Google, Shell, and UDOC, undisclosed oil company. So there's that. That's kind of the top 6, and that ends up being about maybe over half of the remaining volume of the portfolio. And then there's a lot of auxiliary positions like BlackRock, Nextera Energy, Dutch Bros. What else is there? I have some Pepsi, which I'm steadily selling out of and moving either to higher conviction plays or to the S&P 500. Why am I drawing a blank on some of the others? Oh, like Stag Industrial is a good one. SLG. Yeah, so there's quite a few. So I'd say like 15 main positions. There's some stragglers like that are $1,000 positions like Orsted, or I guess it's closer to $2,000 position, but like Orsted and a few others that are kind of just feelers, deciding whether or not I'm going to dive both feet in. Orsted, I wish was kind of staying lower for a little longer. I would have probably initiated a much lower position, but it's already up like 25-30% since I initiated. So thinking about the next big up down mass thing after comms commissioning, I think manufacturing is likely to be here. I wonder what the mix of individual sats versus going to private stations. Oh, good thoughts. Oh, big jump. Similar pressurized versus unpressurized cargo. Interesting. This particular mission has some great long-term revenue potential. The results from the Varda mission will also be interesting as well. I'm very curious to see what tweaks have to be made for those Varda missions, because I'm like, after up there for so long, do you lose the ability to maintain kind of like perfect seals and everything needed for a controlled environment for your drug testing? So I'm just kind of curious what ends up happening with that, and is that going to be a much larger revenue stream going forward, right? Because Varda, like the problem with some of these ideas and satellites and like tests that people are doing is like Rocket Lab, which I think now has established himself as not going bankrupt, is here to stay. So then you have all these customers that are also exploring in the space realm, which is also very expensive to play in. will they remain solvent? And that's part of the problem. So you might assume, like Black Sky, for example, I think they're going to do well. I think they're starting to get EBITDA positive, and I think they'll be around for some time. But that could easily have gone belly up, and next thing you know, you're kind of out 3 missions for 2022, or sorry, 2024. So you kind of have to keep these things with and hope for successful, not only just launches but also successful results for the companies themselves to maintain being customers going forward. So we will see when it comes to that. Why did it drop out? Where was I? How many stocks? Maybe I'm missing something. It seems more like a shipping transport business and not a connection or commercial entertainment business. Airlines don't make great money. FedEx does. Will be interesting. See how this company performs. Interesting thoughts. You fix a stupid bed in your passive income Airbnb. Love you, man. You're a good dude. Shout out to your nephew, George and Thomas, who are watching their first live launch. Congratulations to George and Thomas, their birthday shareholders as of last year. That's awesome, Alex, man. Thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. One of the things I want to do is make sure that my nephews potentially get into it, or at least have them explore. When they were down here in Houston many moons ago, wow, it was a while ago. Time flies, but I went international, and they haven't been back since before the pandemic. But we took them to the Earth and Mineral Sciences Museum here in Houston, which has a really good energy display that shows everything between renewables, oil and gas, how it's made, etc. And they seem to like it a good bit. But we also took them to the Johnson Space Center in Clear Lake, and that's really cool too. You get to see the Saturn V rocket and where they kind of did the mission control for the moon landings and everything like that. It's kind of cool because you think about it, they send the rockets through Cape Canaveral, but then they actually control and operate them in the Johnson Control Space Center, which is really awesome. So that's really fun to see. So yeah. Takes 8 hours. Oof, that's a lot. Mark, what's going on, my guy? Thank you for showing up on a Sunday morning. Air conditioner in your rental, it is not a passive. I had the boiler go out in mine, student rental. It's actually not mine, it's my mom's. She owes me $500. No, I'm just kidding. But it was cool. You get those calls and you're like, ugh, it's like initially a headache, but it's really not too bad. And the contractors are generally really good to deal with. And I've never had bad problems yet with any contractors. So eventually I'm sure I'll get there. Any TV series you're watching at the moment? Billions. I just finished up Reacher, which I thought was really good on Amazon Prime. Speaking of Reacher, and the main character from that, Blue Mountain State is on Amazon Prime. If you've never watched that, that's pretty funny. If you're into, it was more funny when I watched it in college. Now it's kind of just degeneracy, but a little bit about football in college, and I played football in high school, so it makes a little bit more sense to someone like myself, the football aspect of it, but then the college degeneracy kind of thrown in. So that's a lot of fun. Like I said, Billions. I watch a lot of live streams here on YouTube, man. Some business stuff. So I'm not too crazy out there. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I really like watching the Call of Duty Warzone live streams. So I watch a few of those guys in there as well. Your boy looks like me after I throw down with the misses. Oh God, all sweated up or all soaking wet. You're the man, dude. You get after it. There you go. NEXT, man. NEXT, I think will be a good one. I'm very curious. The thing that I think will really blow NEXT up, and I need to write an article on Seeking Alpha. That's actually probably why I look like I just, just woke up, took a shower, and got here, because that's the truth. I was up till like 2 a.m. writing and finishing on my article for Palantir that I'll be publishing hopefully within the next couple days on Seeking Alpha. And eventually I want to do one on NEXT, but I think the real value of NEXT is going to come with the second FID of the fourth and fifth LNG trains that they're going to have there. So it should be interesting to see what happens with that. Which is you breaking the bed. One more kid. I'm one of four. Yeah, I was one of four. I liked the being one of four. It was fun. I'm sure it wasn't fun for my parents, but I was an okay child. I caused some mischief. Has it gone up from the ground yet? Yes, there was a launch already, successful launch. Second stage was successful. They are currently just trying to get it to orbit, and I'm sure they'll be telling us whether or not there's a successful orbit, payload, launch, deviation, whatever. Why did this turn off? Interesting. I guess because it's really light or something. I guess it turned off my headset. Money Matt. Yes, Money Matt here on a Sunday morning, trying to get this live stream up and going. Appreciate everybody for being here. I did not. One of the things that I messed up this morning, I did not make this a live stream or a subscriber only live stream, which I've been doing and being successful at, and unfortunately I did not do that this morning. So let me just ensure that I do go ahead and do that, even though we're only going to be here probably a few more moments. It's worth it just to ensure that we maintain the integrity of the channel and you don't get some randos in here just piping up for no reason. So apologies for having to do that, but sometimes you get some trolls in here. Vince, you want to have the fourth kid, you sure will need more Rocket Lab stock. Agreed with that. 100%. I think Rocket Lab's a good one. Good morning, Edmund. Good morning. Where's everybody calling in from, by the way? I'm curious to see how global this thing is. Obviously, we're launching from New Zealand, but it's a Long Beach, California company. I'm here in Houston, Texas, talking about this. I know we got people from all over Europe, but I'm really curious. Did Chris go on a bender? Did he go and get his beer and he never came back? What happened? I haven't seen him chat up in just a moment, but I'm curious to see where everybody's calling in from. For any sci-fi enthusiasts out there, please have a look at Scavenger Rain. Okay, Scavenger's Rain. Interesting. Anyone know how to get Seeking Albums without having to pay a subscription? If you're part of the Discord with me and Chris or anything like that, or if you DM me on Twitter or X or whatever it's called, if you have a particular one that you're interested in, I can send it to you. I have 4 at the moment. I have Rocket Lab, Dutch Bros, Google, and what was the other one? Oh, Orsted. If you're interested in any of those 4, I can send it to you. Palantirs will be up here in a few days. I still have to finish it up. I outlined the rest of it, but it got to 2 a.m. and I was too busy watching some of my buddies play Tarkov, which I don't play, but I watch, and it seems pretty interesting. So congrats to those guys doing well on their successful raids. Reacher was good. Season 1 was probably better than the second. Interesting to see what they do for season 3. I agree. I really like the lady cop in season 1. She I thought she did a really good job and played a kind of good role in it. And then season 2 kind of just seemed kind of put together. It was kind of interesting because they almost took like all their strings and anyway, interesting thoughts there. Cameron, testing. Welcome to the Sunday morning live stream launch. We had a successful 44th launch. Very curious to see what ends up happening with the orbit, but I'm sure we're good. We are testing Chirac, Illinois. Hate those bears and sheep's clothing. Sorry, I have only one contact in. My other one tore, and I'm waiting for my new ones to come tomorrow. And I'm trying to give my eyes a rest. So instead of opening up a new pack of the old ones, which I'm keeping in reserves, I figured I would just kind of be lazy, keep the pair that I have on there. Columbus, Ohio. HK, does that mean Hong Kong? Welcome from Hong Kong, my guy. If that's Hong Kong. Panama City, Florida. I own a part of an apartment complex over there. Southern California, Dean, it's always great to see you. He's part of the money gang, money gang. Hot Sweden and an Airbnb. Sunday lunches. Oh, launch. Sunday launch in Great Britain. Okay. Very good. From England. Hello, Gabna. No, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't. That's bad. That's a bad joke. I may or may not work for a British company, so I try not to troll those guys too hard. Undisclosed oil company. Dirty old Banff, Alberta. I need to go to Banff, man. I need to take that train that goes across Canada. The Netherlands. Wow, there's a lot of Europeans in here. I'm glad to see that. I'd love to see the European audience continuing to grow here on the Matt Money channel. It's always small town Virginia. Christopher, you're back from the beer fridge, my guy. Did you take a nap? No beers yet. Okay, there you go. Just a nice Sunday morning snooze. I'm surprised we were able to get so many people up. I have trouble waking up on Sundays. That's one thing. If I do end up having a family, I'm a night person. Just to put it bluntly, I don't mind staying late at the office. I don't mind going to bed late. Once my feet hit the ground, I'm okay. But before my feet hit the ground in the morning, I'm like a big sleepy hibernating bear. You can't get me up. But after my feet hit the ground, I'm good. I'm generally good. So yeah, it's gonna be tough if and when I have kids, because if they want to come and hang out and take a nap in bed on a Sunday morning, that's fine. But if they're trying to get me out of bed early, that's gonna be tough. That will be tough. I think you're the shit. Thanks, man. I think you're the shit. Anybody that's here on a Sunday morning watching a live stream is great. Philly, dude. I grew up outside of Philadelphia. Born and raised, my friend. That's not a joke. I grew up on the main line. Dad went to Villanova. Mom went to Gwinnett Mercy College. Yeah, have a lot of family that still lives up there. Great place. Great place. Beautiful part of the country. Philadelphia at the moment, it's kind of going through some stuff, but so hopefully that turns around a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's literally the birthplace of America, and Philadelphia will always have a sweet place in my heart. That's why I fly in to go visit friends and family. Is 3.2 good for Glassdoor? I'm looking at jobs right now. I don't know. Rocket Lab 1 was great. 100%. Check my shoe. What? Hong Kong, my guy. More Netherlands. That's awesome. Montana. That's awesome. I need to go to Montana, man. I've been looking at like Whitefish. I've been looking at a bunch of other places to go visit and get lost. Dutchy 2 seem to have a good representation of the Netherlands on the channel. That's true. Northern Virginia, welcome. Please do a British accent. I'm not good with accents at all. Just to be blunt. I'm trying to think if I could even. I do say Z a lot because of a company I work for, and then a lot of times, like optimization is spelt with an S for me now, not a Z. What other? There's another word that I type pretty frequently where it's an S and not a Z anymore. Americans spell it with a Z, and British spell it with an S. That's about as far as my what's the word I'm looking for? Assimilation to being British has gone. Netherlands is amazeballs. You are all the best. Can't wait to return for the rest of lives. The although Gabna wasn't enough. Come on, guys. When and where is the Neutron launch party? Well, if it is over the holidays, I will be potentially in the Philadelphia area. So it could be something we can arrange. Northern New Mexico, that is awesome. That is really, really awesome. Well, I appreciate all of you guys coming from across the globe, literally, to watch this New Zealand launch. As I told you guys, I'm reporting in from Houston, Texas. We got people everywhere, man. And Houston, Texas, this is a New Zealand launch, but it's a Long Beach, California company, so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of different international. It's crazy how much we've been able to accomplish as a society over the past 100 years in terms of technology and being able to get people up into space, be able to do some crazy shit with electric vehicles, smartphones, etc. Technology just keeps going and going and going. Yeah, man, Philadelphia, land of the cheesesteaks. The U.S. banned me, so no Philly cheesesteaks for you. Yeah, and outside of Philadelphia, it's hard to find a decent cheesesteak. Jersey does a good one. So Jersey does okay. I've had some really good cheesesteaks from Jersey, and if you guys are near Jersey Mike's, if you're in the United States, they do okay as well. But man, people, even when you take people outside of Philadelphia, they're like, "Yeah, man, yeah, making Philly cheesesteaks." It's like, "Are you?" It generally struggles a good bit. All right, well, I'm trying to decide. I don't know how much longer it will be until they do this final announcement here, so I might end up calling it. Let me just double check if they have anything. I don't know if they said specifically when it would be going into orbit, but here you can see the map where they launched from. I guess was over here, but I guess it doesn't show. But it went over Antarctica, and now it's kind of crossing over here on the western side of Africa. Towards, I guess, a little bit past Angola at this point, on its way towards the Nigeria area of Africa. But okay, maybe I'll just call it here. Really appreciate everybody watching on a beautiful Sunday morning. I think my Walmart Plus order did come, and if it did, it says it's arriving soon. So once that comes, I gotta put all that stuff away. I'm gonna heat up the smoker, get my roasted chicken up for Sunday. For those of you guys that are preppers, meal preppers, it could be something where if you have a smoker or something like that, you just do 1 or 2 roasted chickens. Although if you have a family of 4, it might be more difficult. But what I've been doing, because it's just me, just doing a roasted chicken on a Sunday, and it gives you a couple meals throughout the week. And instead, you literally can have chicken within a minute and a half. You literally cut it. You smoke it on a Sunday. Say you're watching TV, you're being lazy. Check the smoker. It's a nice pellet smoker. It does pretty much all the work. Put the thermometer in. Take it out. Let it cool off for a couple minutes. Cut into it. Slice it up. Prep it for the week. Put it in your containers. Put it in the fridge. And when you're hungry, instead of making a full-on dinner, you just heat that bad boy up in a minute and a half, and put some Frank's Red Hot on there, and Bob's your uncle, as they say in the UK. I don't know who Bob is or why he's my uncle, but there you go. Cool. Well, let me This chat's going off the wall here. 26K is the average share-based compensation for a professional job. Oh yeah, I wanted to answer that to somebody. I think they only do about 10 million a quarter in share-based compensation for Rocket Lab. If you look on their 10K, 10Q, that's what I've observed. So not as much as what you would say for Palantir or something like that, but still up there. I'm not sure how big the organization is over at Rocket Lab, but you will get some. And I'm sure it's a lot of shares. It's just, and maybe that's why they don't do as much, is because they know how big it'll grow to be in the future. The new Grand Tour special in Africa. I have also been poking back on Grand Tour. I fell out of it when I moved to Trinidad, and I lost a lot of my subscriptions because I had a subscription before I moved to Trinidad, and now that I'm back, I should probably be able to catch back up on that. Yes, thank you. I'm gonna probably wind it down, Christopher. Hopefully, you find an amicable time for you and the family to crack open a nice cold one, and have one for me, my friend. I don't normally drink unless I have company around, so. There's my Amazon order. Perfect timing to shut this bad boy down. Thanks for hosting the live stream, Matt. Always enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will enjoy the rest of my Sunday. It'll be great. I got to prep for Mexico on Wednesday. Really, really tough time for us here at the Matt Money Matty Capital Arena. I got to prep. So I gotta do laundry. I gotta do all this crazy stuff. So hard, to go Mexico on Wednesday. Life is tough, no, life can't get much sweeter, can it? It's gonna be a great week here. From South Korea. Thank you for tuning in from South Korea. That's fucking phenomenal. 23K is the amount in share-based compensation. Thanks for the stream. Appreciate you for stopping by on a Sunday. Have a great one. Everybody, thank you guys so much. Really looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Much appreciated. You guys are phenomenal. Apologies. The Amazon or the Walmart order just got here. So I got to take precedence, and I got to get kickstarted on some of this stuff. And once again, I need to finish this Palantir article. So hopefully you guys are on the lookout for that. Look at that. We're crossing just over the coast of Western Africa. Really cool. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope to see you guys on the next live stream. I think I'll be doing 1 or 2 live streams from Mexico. We'll see. Maybe I'll end up being too sunburned or God knows what to be able to do it. But I'll actually be going there with Tevis. So you guys know Tevis. So I'll be meeting up with him. So it'll be exciting to be able to do that. So he does this bootleg weekly. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do a bootleg weekly with Tevis in person. I'm going to get to see if he wants to do that. But I guess it all depends on if they're doing it on Tuesday or Wednesday. But either way, would love to do a live stream in person with Tevis. He's a cool guy. Met him in Vegas, and we had a heart to heart, about business, life, and he's just a guy I align with. It seems like on all sorts of avenues. So really excited. He just had off, and I decided I needed to get the hell out of the country. I didn't leave the country in 2023. The last time I left was for Mexico in December 2022. And we wanted to do a new country, but we decided Mexico is easiest, and maybe next time we'll go somewhere new. You guys rock. I'll catch you guys next time. Much appreciated, and hope to see you guys on the Matt Money channel in the future. Have a good one.